Hello, everybody. So, welcome back to Fun with Editing, or whatever the fuck I'm calling this goddamn thing. Anyways, I just had a creepy experience out in the middle of the fucking woods, so currently processing that. Um, I actually posted a video to my Beef 200 YouTube channel, and yeah, now I'm back here and about to work on this. So yeah, here we go. We're on chapter 5 called Shadows. Um, this one I decided to do for the background of it. It takes place after the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and I remember watching this documentary about how some of the people that were essentially vaporized, they managed to block out the light just long enough to leave their shadows behind on whatever they were, leave like an unbleached shadow on the surface of like concrete and that kind of stuff. And I always it's just eerie that, I mean, it's a obviously the story probably is going to piss people off, but I think enough time has passed that, I mean, there's another story I wanted to put in here, but it's only been 20 years since 9/11, and I don't think people would take too kindly to that one. This one, there's a little bit of substance to a little bit of leeway. It happened almost 100 years ago, and I mean, there's other stories about the bombings. There's other stories about Chernobyl, for Christ's sakes. I mean, hell, there's plenty of stories about Chernobyl, and that happened after the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But anyways, um, if you really want to get technical, the Godzilla 2014, that came out like right around the time that the Fukushima thing happened, or whatever the fuck it was, over in Japan. And they actually have the same situation of a nuclear power plant fucking shitting out. Anyways, that's besides the point. But I had an idea of what would happen if those shadows weren't just shadows. What if they were still the people and they were still alive, but it was literally just their negative energy that was left behind? All their hatred, their violence, their aggression, everything. And what would happen if those shadows were animate but could only stay on surfaces? So that's where this came from. Yes, to answer your question, I was a little fucked up when I came up with this one. But yeah, here we go. Oh, wait. And here we go. Okay, I don't have the same voice as Heath Ledger. Fuck it. Chapter 5, Shadows. Pardon me. That was kind of gross. Anyways, I woke up to the sound of my phone exploding with texts. I haven't spoken to... oh. Texts from people. Probably some context would have been good, huh? For months. Rubbing the tired eye snot from my eyes. I looked out the window and saw that it was still dark out. Snatching up my phone, I saw that it was 3 a.m. and the extent of missed messages was astounding. I don't think I've ever had this many messages in a year, in years, but most were from Jimmy. Reading through, it seemed like he was way more entertained by the video than I thought he would be. He went on and on about how real it looked, and then I saw what I was hoping I wouldn't. It was so cool. I posted it to the channel and the shit went viral. There we go. Bolting awake, I went straight to his channel, and the views were nearing 100,000. Oh my god, that stupid fuck. Texting him back, I asked him, what the fuck were you thinking? His response was just as simple as I thought it would be. For the money, bro. That one video just made us at least $500. And I plan on sharing that shit with you too. We don't even know if it's real or fake. If that's real, we are just posting a murder online. That's not cool at all. I typed as fast as I could, begging him to take it down. Bro, it can't be real. Dolls don't just come to life and kill people. Plus, clearly these are fake. Just really good effects. Dude, trust me. These could be our money ticket. I put my phone down and it did start to make a little sense. I just couldn't shake the feeling that these were all fake. But if what I just watched were... But what if... just couldn't shake the feeling that these were all fake. But if what I just watched was true... then we would have seen these things all over the place, right? Standing up, I went to the window and stared in contemplation. What's the harm? I mean, if they are fake, then the original creators would come forward to take credit, right? And if they are real, someone is bound to step forward and know the victims. It's kind of a self-fixing issue at that point, right? Then if the police ask, we can just say we found them. We found them and thought they were fake, and now we have plausible deniability. Thought they were fake. Thinking it through, I sent a message to Jimmy. If we post these videos, I'm I'm going to watch them first just to be on the safe side. But if anyone... I'm going to watch them first just to be on the safe side. But if anyone comes forward as the victims' families or the creators, we have to do the right thing and take the videos down. It only took a few seconds before I got his response. For sure, dude. But in the meantime, let's just enjoy the little extra coin in our pockets. Reluctantly, I had to agree with him. Plus, with the school year coming to an end, and I could use that money to get the hell out of this house. Going back over to the window, I was about to close the blinds when I noticed a weird figure standing outside. I squinted to try to see it better. It looked like a small person standing just out of the light of the street lamp. Its shadow thin and sickly, but whatever it was, it didn't look human. When it finally started taking shape, it leaned forward into the light and went onto all fours, and running through the light, I could see it was the dog from the asylum. Stopping in the light, it... Running into the light. I could see it was the dog from the asylum, stopping in the circle. Stopping in the circle, it took one look up at me took one look up at me through the window and ran off into the night. Guess it was just the dog standing on its hind legs. As odd as that thought was, given the events of the last few days, it wasn't too out of the ordinary. Looking back at the time, it was almost 4 a.m., and I still had school in the morning. Waking up, the day started off the same as always. Rob and his nose had his nose. Waking up, the day started off the same as always. Rob had his nose in the paper, and Mom was doing whatever she was doing. I wasn't sure what I expected, but obviously they wouldn't even notice if I did become famous for anything. Grabbing my computer, I said fuck it and went to the box again. This time finding a flash drive, and made my way to the train station. It seemed like a good day to skip school. Figured everyone would be talking about the video anyways, and I didn't need the replays. I didn't need the replays in my face. Videos anyways, and I didn't need the replays being shown all day to me. Seeing it once was enough. I snuck away after walking out the door. The bus just continued past the house as if I were sick. Even the school doesn't care if I'm there or not, I thought to myself. Walking through the tall grass, the feeling of eyes washed over me. It had to have been my imagination, but I still felt the unease as if I was being followed. The odd quiet sound of only distant bugs traveling through the clearing, only to be cut short and almost silent around me. With each step, the circle of silence moved with me, like a looming cloud before a rainstorm. Every step I took felt as if it itself had a small light echo. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewrite that. Oh, fuck. My feet hitting the ground sounded off almost. These steps for sequence. It's all in your head. Just relax. No one's following you. Closing my eyes, I took a breath, and as the air left my chest, I heard a twig snap. I shot my eyes open and ran as fast as I could. Branches and weeds slapped my face and tore up my clothes until I ran chest first into a ledge of the old terminal. I felt all the life in me burst out with a sudden sharp exhale. I laid on the ground, gasping for breath when I heard the now running footsteps behind me. I scrambled to face my attacker, holding my computer like a nerdy club. The bushes rattled as whatever it was charged out. It was a blur of brown and tan. I felt my back land hard on the old rail. I screamed for help, but my calls were cut short by a fury of wet licks to my face. It was that fucking dog. Get off of me. Fuck you off, you little shit. Took a few seconds, but I was able to finally push him off. Go sit over there, I shouted as I wiped the slobber off my face. I looked back at the dog after brushing myself off. Its head was cocked to the side as if it didn't understand why I was wiping off wiping off its kisses. Stupid dog, scaring me and shit. No wonder you were abandoned. Stepping up onto the platform, I pulled out the flash drive and angrily shoved it into the port of my computer. Looking down at the puppy eyes, I was still annoyed, but the fuzzy face and stupid tongue hanging out made it very hard to be mad at it. You better hope you didn't break my damn computer, or else I'm taking you to the nice Chinese restaurant up the road. They'll make Peking puppy out of you. Standing up, I collected myself with a stupid look on the dog's face following my every move. Can I help you? Again, it just sat there panting in response, tail wagging away. Whatever. Brushing off the opening my bag, I pulled out my laptop and plugged in the flash drive. Oh. A series of pictures loaded up of shadows without people to cast them. A video is at the end that looked like a news anchor from a different country sitting at the desk. What looked like some kind of Asian lettering was behind her. It was labeled unaired footage. Well, here we go. Clicking it, the video instantly started. It was very old black and white footage at first. There was no audio, but there was a label of taken at detonation site. Scrolled across the top. There was a second text bar stating top secret Hiroshima/Nagasaki. This one must be from World War II, I said, looking towards the dog, which it responded with a slight sigh and laid down. A few turns of the camera revealed that there were several very destroyed buildings, either collapsed or blown to pieces. Shadows were present against them, as well as the ground was spattered with random ones. At one point, I swear I even saw one move. The video jumped to a different area, and it showed a few people running from something. They ran in only to be stopped randomly and then dragged against the ground to the walls, where they were carried up as high as they could go, then dropped. This happened several times, in some cases until the person was dead. What the hell is this now? Looking at the video length, it was only a few minutes long, but I had to know what just killed those people. The video jumped again, and this time it showed a very bright white room with several humanoid-looking shapes against the wall, moving exceptionally fast. No, not against it. They were... Wait. No, not against it. They were the wall. Were those the shadows from the street? Another jump, and it showed the shadows attacking a group of guards, pulling them to the ground and literally pulling them apart. It was as if it was some sick feeding frenzy. Whenever blood or body parts hit the shadow, hit the ground. A shadow would slither over to it and dissolve whatever it could into the dark mass. The camera jerks and is dragged several feet before it is dragged up a wall. A few seconds pass and the camera falls to the ground with the lens now facing up towards the ceiling. A spray of black liquid coated the ceiling with what I can only assume was blood. In an instant, several of the shadows converged on the splatter, making it disappear as if it had never been there. What the fuck? I was awestruck and started wondering how such creatures could exist. Were they the souls of the victims after the bombs dropped, or something else? The clip then went to a Japanese newscaster. It appeared to be more modern newscaster. It appeared to be a more modern recording. I couldn't understand a word of what she was saying, but taking out my phone, I used the Pocket Translator app to get the gist of what was said. This video you just watched was recovered from a time capsule that was unearthed this year. We have other clips from the other cameras that appeared to have been buried as if to hide them. We here at the network have sent them for authentication and have discovered they are all real. Viewer discretion is advised. The videos contain graphic content. The video shifted a bit, and another clip began to play. A group of men armed with what looked like floodlights ran into a dark building and began saturating the rooms, with the lights so bright it almost seemed to fry the lens of the camera. The walls were black with moving shadows running in all directions. The old black and white footage shifted again, and the video jumped to a man holding a long staff. He had some strange looking electronics attached haphazardly along the shaft. The camera panned to the right, and a small cell lit up except for a small room about a floor tile size. The armed man walked into the room and flipped a switch on the staff. The end began to glow, and a dark filter was then placed over the lens of the camera. As the brightness became stronger, the wielder flipped down. The wielder flipped down what looked like an old-fashioned welder's hood and jammed the staff into the darkened spot. The white bright end then clasped shut around something in the room, and a struggle ensued until another man came from behind the camera to help the other. Between the two men, they managed to pull the shadowy demon from the room into the light. As it was forced from the corner, the darkness drained as more was pulled free, its body disintegrating in the brighter area. Soon, another man armed with another light staff grabbed another limb of the creature, and all three at once yanked and pulled the creature away from the wall, its body instantly thrashing until finally dissipating. The three men then cheered and congratulated each other. The next clip showed a large building that looked like a power plant. A man was taking a camera crew to show what was going on. The first few minutes showed nothing too out of the ordinary until they exited an elevator. Before the doors opened, the lead man handed everyone a welding hood, and another dark lens was put on the camera. The doors opened to another brightly lit hallway, doors lining each side, and a man in a full radiation suit stood guard next to a large red button. I couldn't read the sign, but according to the translator, it was along the lines of "press in case of escape, cover eyes." Stopping at the doorway, the cameraman looked inside to see the room were the blackest black I had ever witnessed. A door behind the guard opened up, and another similarly dressed man pushing a cart with what looked like rods of some sort entered the hall. The man proceeded to stop at each door, opened a small hole, and then feed the rods into the dark rooms, occasionally hitting red buttons on the side of the doorways before moving on. When the cart made it to the film crew, they documented the man placing the rod into the hole and watched it as it had shadowed hands grab a hold. Making it float into the air. Some unheard words were spoken, and the cart man hit the red button along the door. The room flooded with light for a few seconds before resuming its darkened state. When the camera refocused, the rod lifted to the ceiling and then evaporated into the walls. Are those fuel rods? Are they using these things as some sort of radioactive disposal thing? The video then cut back to the anchor, who now looked very scared. A red splatter was behind where her co-anchor had been sitting. She was breathing heavily as his gunshot was heard, and the camera slouched down, pointing at an angle to the floor. A pair of nondescript legs walked into view, and a large box was wheeled by the frame. I could hear the woman begging for her life before another gunshot silenced her. A few seconds passed, and a heavy lock could be heard being released, and a bright glow lit up the floor. An audible clink could be heard, and a man's voice saying, "Feeding time." A man's voice saying "feeding time" before the video cut to black. That was intense. I wonder if that's going on. Yeah, let's give me another. That's possibly a long one. You go to black. Yes. After the video ended. And sanity was at some asylum. I sat back after the video ended and took it in the insanity. Was that what I saw in the asylum? That was intense. I wonder if that's going on here in our power plants. Taking out my phone, I texted Jimmy. Texted Jimmy to come meet me after school. I had another video for him. I looked around but saw that the dog was gone now. Maybe it went to go roll around in a dead animal or something. I just knew though I had to go before it came back. Didn't want it following me home. Okay. And that was chapter 5. Yeah, that was chapter 5. So thank you for joining me again. Sorry, I kind of zoned out while I was reading, but I wasn't saying anything too majorly that had to get changed. But thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.